PYTCH, we create experiences and deliver messages to people all over the world. And as part of that, we get to work with some amazing equipment. So in this series, I'm going to do box openings of all the new toys and equipment that turns up at PYTCH HQ. So I hope that I can share the joy of this new equipment with everyone on the web. So today at PYTCH HQ, we had a new camera turn up, the Blackmagic Micro 4K. Chuck us a camera, Laurie. Here we go. Box from our friends at CVP. Thanks, guys. Great delivery times. As always, it's come in a UK-style brown box in the post, and today I'm using a normal kitchen knife. Okay, so we've got some white tape, brown box, kind of boring. Bit of paperwork. Don't need that. The guys have already emailed us the invoice. It's fine. So, gonna open the box. Inside, we have these things. I don't know what these things are called, but I find when I open the box at home, they go everywhere and the dog eats them. They're kind of annoying, but they do keep the box looking nice. So let's get that open and out of the way and take out the kit from the inside. Okay, now Blackmagic stuff, big fan of it, love it, got loads of it, and it helps us deliver some really amazing events to our clients. So, Blackmagic Micro Studio Camera 4K. We bought this because we need something really lightweight that can go on a jib and that can also take an MFT lens. We've got quite a few MFT lenses here and they're quite wide and the sensor is very large, so it allows us to get particularly wide shots, which is not as easy when using things like a B4 or maybe an EF lens. So here we go, shiny box, very glossy, trying to figure out how to open it. It's like a puzzle solving thing, but then you just lift up, so we're fine. Okay, inside the box, let's have a look. What have we got? Bit of paperwork, a flyer, software installer, that's great. I guess that's for firmware updates, one would assume. We've got more paperwork, a sticker. I don't use that, but when I was a kid, I used to collect these things and stick them on the flight case I used to make at school. These days though, stickers, I feel I'm a bit more grown up than that. DaVinci Resolve 16 free. Love that, guys, at Blackmagic. That's amazing. You're giving away this software. I think that's super cool, and you're helping people get more into the world of high-level editing and grading. Fantastic. Okay, the exciting stuff. I want to go straight for the camera, but I'm not going to. Going to do the boring stuff first. What have we got here? A battery. That's cool. You don't always get batteries with gear. Thank you, guys. Okay, we have a, what have we got here? This is a UK 13 amp plug adapter, which presumably will attach to the power supply. Let's have a look. Can I get the power supply out? Not the easiest in the world. It's a bit like opening one of those kids' toys that you get where it's all like bits of metal that hold it all in place. So this is tricky. I feel like they've made it look really nice from this side, but in reality, getting things out is not so easy. Here we go. Again, there must be a name for these things, those sort of wire cable tie things. There's loads of them in here. Okay, being very careful not to drop the camera. Okay. So that's the power supply. It's got a little plastic bracket there to protect the pins. Gonna slide that in, and there we have the UK 13 amp wall warts, as we call them. We call them wall warts because they look like a wart stuck to a wall, and it's basically the power supply built in. Presumably, probably 12 volts coming out of there. 35 volts actually. Oh yeah, 12 volts. Okay, so that's to one side. Now we have this thing. I think this might be one of the most important parts. Okay, this looks like a sort of D-sub type serial connector, and then it's breaking out to all these connectors here. So this will go into the camera, and then here we've got a Lank control. That's great, Lank being remote zoom and focus demand. When using motorized lenses, you want to control it from like the bottom of your jib, so that's really important. Then we've also got a reference in, so that's like a gen lock, so that the frame rates of this camera can match the rest of your system. And then PTZ control. I don't know what that's for, except maybe that's taking a signal from down the SDI and then is outputting to a PTZ controller perhaps. Not sure, we'll find out later though. And then we've also got the S bus, so presumably that's a serial bus for other like ancillaries and accessories. Then we've also got a B4 lens. So that will be the power supply for a B4 lens, I guess. And then we have power 12 volt. Right. There's some other plasticky bits here like the American and European power supplies. Now the exciting bit, the camera. Okay, this is really small, this thing. It's absolutely tiny. I've got quite big hands, but the camera's very small. So we've got an HDMI output. We've also got the expansion plug, which is this cable I just looked at then. And then we have the lens mount. It's got a really big sensor inside there and the B4 lens mount. Now let's see if we can get some power on this thing with the battery. It's also got an SDI input and SDI output on what looks like an absolutely micro BNC connector and a microphone input and a headphone output. So this is some really like a lot of features packed into a very small case size. Okay, a light as well. I'm hoping that's going to be a tally light. A tally light is when you're vision mixing and the presenter can look at your cameras and know which one's live because the color changes from a red to a green. So this is very cool. However, there's no screen on it, but why would there be? Because it's a tiny little camera. So what I'm going to do now is take it next door, plug it into a monitor, put an MFT lens on it, and then see what it looks like. And now I've put the camera on a jib. The jib is this big arm thing that allows the camera to fly around in the sky. And let's get the lens on. Okay, cool, it's looking good. Frame rate looks very good. Colors look very natural. It's not overly saturated. Some of the Sony and Panasonic gear we use, the output you get is often very pumped up and very contrasty. We'd rather get it through much more milky and a broader dynamic range so we can change that later on. So the image at first glance here is looking really nice. The zoom range of the lens is good. And I'm not seeing any particular aberrations or blurriness as we go through the focal range of the zoom of the lens, although of course that's more the lens than the camera. Okay, so far it's looking good. So that is the Blackmagic Cinema Micro 4K. Of course, we just opened it here, had a basic play with it. The real test is what is it like on a show and what's it like after 6 months of heavy use. But first impressions, great bit of gear, good value for money, exactly the right size and weight for jib work, and I'm very excited to be using this later this week.